Well, surprise, surprise, it's me. How you doing, everybody? Don't ask me why I'm doing this. I was just curious to see if I could actually do a live stream sitting out on my back porch and puffing on my cigar, relaxing on my back porch. Let me turn my audio down on my cell phone there. Okay. And I see we got Johnny Don't Flyers here. How you doing? Lewis L from New York. How you doing, guys? I didn't know if anybody actually come into this thing or did anybody find me or whatever, but I thought I wanted to test this out. So why not? Why not give it a shot and see who comes in? It's hard for me to read the chat on my, I got a tablet sitting up in front of me. Just a tablet sitting up on a tripod. I've got the chat over to the right. It's a little hard to read, but I do also have the chat on my phone, so I can read it on my phone. This is great. Carla Simpson, how you doing? Sandy Blythe is here. BMAT, hey, Earth Healthy Carnivore UK. My name is Sarah. I know who you are. I didn't know your name. Good to see you, Sarah. Yeah, this would be great for those of you in Europe. I hadn't thought about that. Tina Schweikerath is here. Hey, Mark Booth. Don't any of you people work? I don't work. Well, I do work. I'm working now. Frank Thompson. Hello, Mitch, he says. Stanley Bridge, just hanging out. It's amazing. It's amazing how I got 34 people here. Holy cow. Wow, don't I feel special? Sandy Blythe is here. Ann Wright is here. Gail Fox is here. Jamie Velasquez, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Stephen Alba, how you doing, Stephen? Good to see you. Wow. Well, I guess this works. And I'm equipped. I got a cigar. I got some San Pellegrino here. I have absolutely nothing planned to say. I got the idea the other night when Sean Baker popped up on a live stream, sitting out on his patio from his cell phone, kind of crooked, just kind of relaxing. I said, well, Sean Baker can do it, so can I, and I can do it better. I can do it more professionally with better sound and picture. I hope the sound is good because I'm just talking into the microphone that's actually on the tablet. Any of you want to comment on whether the sound is any good? I'd appreciate it. Here, Stanley says the audio is staticky. Audio is a little scratchy. Well, I can't help that for right now, but the next time I will try to attach a Bluetooth microphone to this, and hopefully we'll get better sound. But that's why I'm doing it. I just wanted to test it out and see how it works. The picture looks great. I'm watching it on my big TV behind me. So there's nothing wrong with the video quality, other than some ugly old man sitting in the middle of the picture. Sandy Bly says, after 4 days without power for a hurricane, got power last night. Hey, congratulations. Lewis L says, yeah, the Bluetooth mic will help. Audio is not up to par. Yeah, I can imagine that. If I get closer to the tablet, does that help? Of course, you don't want to see me leaning in like this, but maybe I can get it a little closer to me. Hang on a second. Let me move it a little closer to me. Healthy Carnivore UK, $5 super chat. Thank you so much, my friend. Does that help the audio? I don't think the carpenters on the next street using their saw is going to help, but hopefully that helps a little bit. And as long as you can hear me, I guess this is okay. I never expected to see 46 people jump in here at 3 o'clock or 2:30. What was it, 2:40 I started on a Monday afternoon. But I'm watching the chat. So This was a last minute idea, and I just wanted to see if it worked. Hope I didn't bump up your expectations too much and you're not disappointed. Here I am. And, if you got a cigar handy and you feel like it, chime in. The only, I think, disappointment's going to be that for those few of you left who think this is really a magical musical lighter, you're going to be severely disappointed because there's no editing involved in a live stream. So tell me what's going on in the chat. See if we can't talk about some of them. And if you have a question, over distorted microphones. All right, hang on a second. Let me try to fix that. Let me go into my settings. If I disappear for a second, I'll be right back. Go to audio. Let me automatically adjust the mic volume. There. Did that fix it? Did that fix it? Hopefully it fixed it. Let me know. Let me know. Ludi Cross is here. Good to see you. Thank you, Mitch. You've never disappointed me yet. Let me. Jamie says I played the cigar music in my mind. Okay, Sandy says much better. Okay, thanks. Not the volume. The audio has that. Stephen says yes, much better. Mark Booth says sounds better. Okay, I'm gonna. Next time I'll experiment around a little bit. I'm sure that I can attach a Bluetooth microphone to this tablet. And then the audio should be the same as any of the morning talks that I have, because that's the microphone I use. Lewis L says it sounds the same, so it's kind of a toss-up, I guess. But as long as you can understand what I'm saying, crackling here, says Carl. Well, I don't want to just go away and go get the microphone and try to spend the time trying to hook it up now. This is not going to be a long live stream. It's just a test for two things. Number one, to see if anybody would even care enough to jump on in if I come up with a few things I want to say or just get bored and feel like talking to my friends. It'd be nice to know that I would be well received when I just popped up from time to time. I don't expect to make this a regular thing, since I do 3 live streams a week already. That's a lot. That's a lot of talking. That's 6 hours of nonstop talking. 51 people tuned in. Yes. Mark Thorpe, how you doing? Mark Ann Wright is here. BMAT, thank you so much. It's your birthday. I should be giving you a birthday present, my friend. Thank you so much for that. We took the day off, spent the morning reading Taming the Beast Within. I'm on the Layman's Guide to Biochemistry chapter. Oh, that's great, man. That's my book. My book. He's reading my book. As a member of the private community, you can get a copy of that for free. You just download it. It's on a PDF. The Layman's Guide to Biochemistry, just so you know, were my views on proper diet 22 years ago when I wrote that book. 22 years ago, my views weren't exactly the same as today. And I thought that anybody who read that book might be interested to see just how much of what I believed back then is still true today. And how much new information, new findings I've learned. There really was no such thing as carnivore. No such thing as carnivore. I mean, carnivore was a thing, as in a lion is a carnivore, but as far as an eating lifestyle for humans, that didn't come along until 7, 8 years ago, I don't think, where it was pretty much defined as a quote, diet. Back then, I was 55 years old when I wrote that book. Back then, I was Jesse Farmer's here. How you doing? Tormir, good to see you, my friend. Robert B is here. Wow. Wow. Good to see you all. Thank you for coming. Holy cow. We're going to get almost as many viewers as I do on my evening live streams. But at any rate, I started low carb in 1973 after reading Robert Atkins' first book, The Atkins Diet Revolution. Boy, did that book ever stir the pot back then. Everybody thought he was out of his mind. Eat a lot of meat. Don't eat sugar. We were already addicted back then. The food pyramid, the guidelines had just, well, they hadn't come out yet. They didn't come out till 77. But there was still a lot of processed foods around, a lot of cookies, a lot of all those snacks, and people were becoming addicts. And I thought that Atkins made a lot of sense about the damage that sugar does, and low carb being the way. And I went on those low carb diets, and I was always successful. And there were many of them, one after another. Back in when I was 55 years old, 22 years ago, I think the most recent up-to-date diet advice that I was reading had come from a fellow named Barry Sears. Barry Sears. He wrote a book called The Zone Diet. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the term the Zone Diet. I think they're still selling all the products, the Zone bars and all that stuff. I saw Jonathan is here. Hey, Jonathan from Alaska. How you doing, my friend? Bags Pack family. Good to see you. Donald McPherson is here. Expects words of wisdom. I'll see if I can't not disappoint you. Intolerant is here. Oh, okay. But I'm glad you're here. Said, hey there, Mitch. But what's in it for me, society? BMAT. I bought the book from Amazon. Oh my God. Good for you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Jesse Farmer. Good afternoon, sir. He said, I try to keep up with the chat and still tell my story. So Barry Sears and reading the Zone book was the first time that I had read about the concept of the glycemic index. And the theory behind the glycemic index was that some carbohydrates absorb faster and therefore are responsible for a more rapid rate of increase of blood sugar, more of a spike than kind of a ramp. And the first thing in my mind that I equated this with, from a unique position of certain experiences that I've had, was of being a pilot flying what they call a tail dragger airplane. That's an airplane that doesn't have a nose wheel. It has a tail wheel on the back. And when you fly a tail dragger airplane, rudder control with your feet is much, much, much harder to achieve and requires a lot more finesse than it does when you have a steerable nose gear in front of you. And the reason for that is that when you give power in a single engine airplane, you have, and I don't want this to get too complicated, and you really don't need to understand that only the results of what happens, but because the prop spins in one direction, you have a force called P factor. And what it does is it puts a lot of torque and really makes the airplane want to just veer off to the left. So if you're flying a tail dragger, you know in advance that the minute you advance the power, you're going to have to immediately throw in a hell of a lot of right rudder to try to straighten it out. And learning the exact amount of right rudder to add in is something that requires just practice. And when you first do it, what happens is this thing starts going to the left so fast, you put in way too much. You overcorrect. And then the thing is veering off to the right too fast. So then you put left in, back in, and you end up going down the runway like this until you finally get that slowed down and the airplane finally picks up some speed. And the tail of the airplane starts getting enough wind going over to actually, for your rudder to actually help you steer. And I looked at blood sugar like a tail dragger airplane, and I said, well, this is why we get in so much trouble, because insulin is injected into the bloodstream, not based on the amount of blood sugar, but the rate at which it's spiking, shooting up, or just increasing gradually. And the high glycemic sugars and any thing with flour in it, because of the fact that flour is ground down into powder, turned it into an extremely high glycemic sugar. Any sugar without fat in it turned it into a high glycemic sugar. The blood sugar would spike. That spike was interpreted by the body as a race to immediate death from hyperglycemia, diabetic coma, basically. So just like my right rudder foot, the pancreas would overreact to that screaming rate of acceleration of blood sugar and just overcompensate to try to stop it and put too much insulin in the bloodstream. Now you've got too much insulin in the bloodstream. The insulin is starting to take that sugar and jam it into your cells to get it out of the bloodstream. And just like my left foot, when I've hit too much right rudder, I'd have to hit left rudder to correct my mistake. And that's what happens. And now your blood sugar plummets and you end up on that blood sugar roller coaster, which is pretty much caused by eating the highest glycemic sugars. When I say highest glycemic sugars, I was surprised to find out that one of the most fastest absorbing, and that kind of equates to most fattening, sugars on the planet happen to be, believe it or not, a rice cake. A rice cake, which is supposed to, or dry popcorn, which is supposed to be the recommended food to lose weight because it's no fat. So you couple the fact that it's an incredibly high glycemic sugar, it has no fat to slow down the digestion. It's the worst thing you can do if you're trying to lose weight. And yet, even today, people are still buying rice cakes and eating dry popcorn because they think it's diet food. And I was writing about this 22 years ago. So I talked about this kind of thing in that chapter of the book. And I still follow a lot of that advice today. Only today I eat no sugars, so I don't have to worry about that stuff. But I hope you enjoy that book. I hope you enjoy it, and let me know. Let me know if you have any questions. Email. MJ Paquette is here. Hello, Isabella's here. How you doing? Looks like Maciel Ordonez. How you doing? Salt Lake. Still can't believe I'm as old as old people. I love that. I love that saying. I can't believe I'm as old people are. Robert B is here. Good to see you. Grandma Pripper, how you doing? You're not late. No problem. Boyd Lamb says my mic is breaking. Yeah, we've been through that. I'm on a tablet. That's the best I can do. Next time I pop up and do this, I will certainly try to put a Bluetooth mic on this thing and test in advance to see if it works. This was a thing, and to tell you the truth, I kind of hoped some people would show up, but I figured, well, if one or two people show up, I'll thank them for coming, and I did my test, and I learned what I needed to learn, and see you tomorrow night. But I didn't expect 56 people to show up. Holy cow. What would happen if I threw a party? BMAT says, I intend on getting it autographed by the author one day. I would be honored to do that. I'd be honored to do that. Tina Schweikerath says, I also followed Dr. Atkins' Diet Revolution. I still have the book. You know, I probably have it buried somewhere too. I did have success 2 times, but just to keep it off the carnivore. Tina, you and I followed exactly the same path. It worked, lost the weight until it didn't, because the cravings always eventually won in the end, and it was usually because I got down to a certain weight. I looked in the mirror. I was happy with what I saw. I said, well, this deserves a reward. I still wasn't viewing these things as the dangerous drugs that they are, these carbs, as the addictive drugs that they are. I, like everybody else, just bought into the theory that, well, just once won't hurt. And I learned the hard way many times, over and over and over again, that just once, and I always equate it to being an alcoholic, that just one drink after 10 years sober will end your sobriety. And once I got a taste of that sugar again, my brain went crazy. And I went on a binge that lasted for months until I put on every pound I had lost. And not only put on every pound I had lost, put on a few extra ones for good measure. And then thinking about it, I said to myself, well, I can understand that, because our subconscious mind doesn't really understand what's going on in our conscious mind. It doesn't understand that we intentionally put ourselves on a diet. It's not really thinking. It's a computer that is just following its program, and it gets its cues from sensors, kind of like a self-driving car. You can't expect a self-driving car to actually have conscious thought. It can only react based on information coming in through its different sensors and how it's programmed to react. And being a biological machine, we have to constantly be aware of thousands and thousands of different things in our body, and that are monitored by different sensors, let's say, and provide input to our subconscious. And what our subconscious mind sees when we go on a diet, it sees a famine. It only knows, oh, this food was there yesterday. What the hell happened today? Well, maybe it'll come back tomorrow. Well, didn't come back tomorrow. Not only didn't the food come back, but this idiot is overexerting himself too. What the hell is that? What the hell is this place with all those machines and all those people running like crazy but not going anywhere? Are they stupid? They're burning more energy. We're getting too little energy. What are we going to do? Panic, panic, warning, warning. We need to slow down the rate at which we burn energy and conserve. Let's slow down our metabolism. All of these things are out of your conscious thought. They're all happening as an automatic programmed response to what happens when you both limit the nutrition and increase the exertion. Exactly the wrong thing to do, as we've learned, if you want to get healthy and lose weight and speed up your metabolism as opposed to slow it down. The best examples of these people are the contests from that Biggest Loser contest. Most of those people are ruined for life. Their metabolism is completely broken. Adrienne Gilheed is one of them. She interviewed me on her channel, and we talked about it. We met in Orlando and talked about it. And it is devastating. She finally went carnivore and recovered from that, but I don't know if her metabolism is back to where it was before she started that Biggest Loser experience that she had. So Hey, keep up with the chat here. Naomi Jones is here. Good to see you, Naomi. Carla Simpson says so addictive. Everybody's saying, Dixie Scott is here. Hi, Dixie. How you doing? Good to see you. Susan M. Hiya, Susan. Good to see you, too. Steve Halbeck says, the mind is self-serving. Will do anything to bump sugar in your diet. Well, it only does that, Stephen, when you're a sugar burner, when you are and have been burning sugar as your primary fuel for so many years or decades. That is the prime concern. Your subconscious is only concerned about how am I going to stay alive till tomorrow. And since it only knows sugar, the fat burning pathways have gone relatively unused. Because you've been burning mostly sugar, chances are your insulin is high. Everything's related. You're hyperinsulinemic. You may be a pre-diabetic or full-blown diabetic. When your insulin is chronically high, you can't burn your body fat. You're in survival mode. That's how your subconscious is programmed. When there is no fat to be had in the diet and you're burning all sugar, that means there's a famine. The real food is not around. And after that's gone on for decades, that just becomes the way you live. So the focus is always on the sugar. Because you're eating all this sugar, your insulin ends up being chronically high and you end up a diabetic, which exacerbates the problem because now you're a diabetic. And one thing insulin does, put you in fat storage mode. What that means is that each of your fat cells will not accept fat. Will not give up fat. It'll accept fat, but it won't give up fat. So your body is looking for something to run itself on. It's looking for some fuel. It's programmed to know that you have 1 day worth of sugar stored up. It's not a very deep gas tank when you think about it. 1 day's worth of sugar. So it wants to make sure you keep topping that tank off. It doesn't want that sugar level to get low. And it achieves that by throwing out cravings. It's in charge of your body, not you. That's why these cravings are almost impossible to resist. They become imperatives from our brains that we top off our sugar, that we eat sugar. A lot of that's triggered by roller coaster blood sugar levels. So when your brain sees your blood sugar plummeting because it put way too much insulin in, it interprets that as you're running out of gas and you need to get some more gas. You end up on a 2-3 hour, I'm starving to death cycle and need to cram more sugar. And over the years, that's settled in as a get up in the morning, cram sugar in your face, eat your breakfast cereal, your orange juice, your skim milk, maybe a donut, go to work. By 10 o'clock, you've been through the first one of those sugar roller coasters. Now your blood sugar's plummeting. You start feeling a little weak. Your brain panics. We're dying. We need sugar. Forgot all about burning fat. And bingo, craving, head for the break room and the Starbucks you go and you have your sugar-laden coffee and pastry, and now you're good to lunch. And you do that all day, right up until the time you go to bed. And you find yourself in front of the TV at night, at 9 o'clock at night, just consecutively putting sugar, carbohydrates in your mouth. It's amazing that you don't get up in the middle of the night to eat too. You should get a little respite from it. So that's what happens to us. That's what happens to us. You've heard me say all that before. What if somebody said, don't get me started? I hope you don't mind me relaxing here. I'll have to bring a little music player out here to play music when I do. It's just different being live from my out on my screen porch smoking a cigar. Hi, anybody else? Grandma Prepper, Stephen Oliver, Nate Dog, how you doing? B-Man, heck, happy birthday. Yes, sir. Happy birthday, B-Man. Mama Cracker. Do it. Ribeye bought at Sam's Club for dinner. No cake. I'm having a Sam's Club ribeye for dinner myself. I will put a candle in it in honor of your birthday. Boyd Lamb, 60. I don't know if that's Boyd Lamb's age or B-Man's age. But 66 people. I'm surprised. I'm amazed. Not that I'm that popular, but that so many of us have nothing to do. I know that I watch a lot of YouTube every day. That's for damn sure. I've watched some interesting stuff today. Scientific stuff that there's a channel called Big Thing. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of it. Very, very. It's all lectures. The top scientists in so many fields, physics, and some of the stuff they put out is very, very thought-provoking. And I watch some of these things and they generally fit. A lot of those theories these guys are talking about were things that I've thought about myself. And in a lot of cases, work them into the mindset of why our diet actually works. I find that stuff fascinating. Fascinating. Linda Smith says hello from Michigan. Be Matt just a young whippersnapper. Boyd is 67. Well, you're a young whippersnapper, Mr. Lamb. Although I'm not quite old enough to be your father. Not quite yet. But when I meet a 60-year-old and I say to myself, holy cow, I could actually, I mean, I would have been young, but I could actually be this person's father. That's a scary thought. My son will be 54 here in a month or two. That's a scary thought. Ronald Simpson says she loves science. Touring carnivores. You can ask questions if you like. That's why I'm looking over the chat. Although, since I'm not giving personal medical advice and not analyzing blood test results and doing all that stuff like the YouTube doctors do, the questions that people ask are going to have to be more broader, generalized. So I'm not going to get that many of them. I've already accepted. I had a question above, says Stuart. How did I miss that? Did you put the QQQ in front of it? Oh, yeah, you did. Sorry. Must have been speechifying at the moment. Did the carnivore or lion diet make a positive impact on your recovery time after sports, making recovery faster? I would have to definitely say that it does. It certainly speeds up a recovery from a wound or an injury. I can tell you that. Although when I recovered from my head injury, brain surgery, I had been on keto, but pretty low carb keto. So I recovered amazingly fast. Things heal amazingly fast. When I had that bout of a upper respiratory thing, it lasted 2 days. Those things used to hang on. They could hang on for a week or two. As far as recovering from sports, when I work out, I don't even take notice. Sometimes I'll work out, and I don't work out real hard anymore, but I'll do push-ups and squats and use some of that, the bands, the resistance bands I have. And I don't get sore ever. And seems like I can go right back the next day and repeat what I did the day before without any problem. even though they say you're supposed to wait 2 to 3 days. Now, maybe I don't work out hard enough. I don't know. I'd like to think that it helps recovery. And from the testimony that I've heard from all of these real athletes, of which I'm not, I think it does. So I think that the answer to that question is a definite maybe, and most probably yes. See, I'm like the weatherman. The weatherman is never wrong. He's never wrong. I mean, he can say there's a 5% chance of rain tomorrow, and when it rains, he's still right. He's never wrong. It's nice to be able to phrase your answers in a way you can never be wrong. Life after carbs. I like that. I like that. Nice name. Hey, Mitch of North Wisconsin just had elk ribeye from a farmer's market yesterday. Cooked, it seemed like a beef ribeye, but I had to try the elk version, a bit overpriced, but it was good. Well, more than likely, at least it was appropriately fed. I wish I don't have those markets around here. Richard Williams, signal is going on and off. I'm sitting out on my back. I'm sitting out on my back porch on Wi-Fi. It looks like I've got, according to the screen here, I've got a strong signal. It is what it is, and I'll work on it. Again, this was just going to be a test today. Naomi Jones, I'm turning 51 this Friday. Happy birthday. And going on live with Cindy DeVanch. Have fun. Baciel Ordonez, 74 today. Well, make this a birthday live stream. How about that? Alex Mack is here. Good to see you. Waiting to go to the supermarket and get my mince beef 20%. 1 year into keto to carnivore transition. Loving it. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. That's great. Stephen Alvac, carnivores helped him understand his body and his suggestions. Lori Weitzel's here. Hi, Lori. Says, sup? Well, she said, hey, what's happening? Which is sup. Looking for a chuck roll. I have never attempted that yet. I haven't bit the bullet to buy that huge big chuck roll and try to cut it up and get a few oddball good steaks out of it. It's on a ground beef, but it probably isn't a bad idea if you can get it cheap enough. If you can get it cheap enough. I have so many things I say that, yeah, I'm going to look into that. I'm going to try it. I'm going to watch that. I get a lot of people send me things to watch, emails with links in them. And I try to see them, but it's just only so many hours in a day. Wow. I like this, puffing on a cigar doing live. Had somebody send me a link today. Well, it wasn't a link. I was directed to a video. And I'm going to have to watch this one. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And it was a video from a doctor on YouTube. A doctor. And the video was how good for you cigar smoking is compared to cigarette smoking. And this guy evidently, and I haven't watched it yet, made the case that not only isn't it harmful, but it actually has benefits. And you know how I always tell you that we hear what we want to hear? Whether it's right or wrong, we will believe it if it fits in with what we want to believe. That's a human trait. And you know I'm a realist. Life after carbs. Chris says chuck roll is definitely the way to go. I still have several freezer bags of chuck portion ready whenever I had some Saturday AM, since the continental breakfast at the hotel didn't have meat. Yeah. I see Mike is here, father of United Carnivore. Mike Sealy, how you doing, Mike? Good to see you. Juan Manuel, hey, Juan from Chile. See, you found it too. Holy mackerel, 68 people. It's incredible. Incredible. Stephen Albeck says Costco sells the chuck roll. You can go to the meat counter. Laurie says, happy birthday to the birthday boys. And Kathleen Hickey from Lakeland, Florida. Just drove through Lakeland on my way over to the meetup in Tampa. I know Lakeland. I certainly know where Lakeland is. And Mike Sealy's here, United Carnivore. How you doing? Mike, send me an email. I know you said in the comments on the last live stream that you had confirmed a reservation for a meeting over here at the Brazilian Steakhouse for October the 25th. If you talk to anybody in particular, let me know. I think I'm going to go over there anyway and make sure that even though you did it, that when we get there, they actually remember it, because they didn't seem to be too on the ball over there in Tampa. But let me know if who you talked to, if you know who it was. I know you know those people over there better than me because you've been there a lot more often than I have. All right, thank you, Mike. Mama Cracker is smiling at everybody. Good deal. Mama Cracker says, I only found this because I came in to feed the dogs. Moody Cross says, United Carnivore, I hope you didn't fly. Yeah, Michael, how'd you come out over there in Tampa? I know my daughter was north in Pasco County. They didn't have any flooding up where she was, as far inland. I know, looking on TV, and sometimes you get the wrong idea. They find one puddle that's up to somebody's knees somewhere and get some footage of it. And then for the next 3 days, that's all you see is that one puddle. And they're showing you that one puddle over and over again because there's no flooding anywhere else. And that's kind of typical sometimes when they want to play up the disaster because it gets some views on their news channels and advertising revenue. Everybody does it. They do it on YouTube to get clicks. They sensationalize everything. It's the way you have to play the game, I imagine. That's why you have teasers on the news. Story at 11. But a lot of times they'll show you something in an area which is really isolated. It's maybe in one particular area, but overall they did pretty well. Not saying that's true in this case. There was just a lot of devastation. But I don't know how many of you saw it, but I have seen it 100 times already, and that was that video of Treasure Island, Florida, in Pinellas County, with all of the boats washed up in front of that row of very nice houses. You know which one I'm talking about? That they're still showing that because it just looks bad. And what happened? The reality behind that was that they had taken those boats out of the water and put them up on blocks on the lot across the street from those big houses, right on what they call Bayshore Drive, right on the main road into Treasure Island. And the waterway is right on the other side of that empty area. There's a marina there, so the vacant lot is behind the marina, and then across the street is those houses. So rather than leave these smaller boats, the pontoon boats and the fishing boats, the small boats, not the big yachts, but the small boats, they pulled them before the storm and put them up on blocks. Well, they didn't anticipate a 6-foot surge. So you had all these boats just sitting there, right across the street from these big houses, and the water comes up and lifts them all up, and they just float across the street and bang into the houses and sit there until the water goes down and they just end up on the ground. And when you looked at the picture of these boats, they weren't beat up, they weren't upside down, they weren't being tossed around all that much. They just went on a little trip about 30, 40 feet right across the street. In fact, a couple of them never made it over the fence they had there and got actually hung up in the fence. The other ones managed to float over the fence. And that picture of that house, and that was a unique occurrence, and yet it was something that attracted attention. And people say, hey, did you see, wow, look at that, all the boats were in the front yard. It was something. Yeah, it was something. Linda Price, how you doing? Yeah, North Carolina got it worse than Florida. People in Georgia got hit bad. Tennessee. The only people who didn't get hit real hard was me, sitting over here on the east coast of Florida. It hardly even rained here. Laurie says, somebody has to work, United Carnivore. Have a good shift. Yeah, some of you guys are still working. Wow. I can't believe I'm doing this for 45 minutes. I expect you to come home for 5 or 10 minutes, say hi to you guys. It's great. This is great. Be something to do this afternoon. Well, I'll tell you what, if nobody has any more questions for me, Boyd Lamb, Europe time. Yeah, Bonnie Crust. Seems like North Carolina was hit harder than Florida. Belmont Leonis here. What's happening, Mitch? Good day, my friend. Good day to you. And Spanky, Spanky has arrived. Golf Addict says, Mitch, how are you? Richard Williams says the signal is weak on his phone, but the TBA dam is holding up. Well, that's good. I was wondering about you, Richard. Up in Tennessee, I haven't really looked into which dam it was, but they were very, very worried a day or two ago about a dam that didn't look like it was going to make it. They were evacuating people. They were downriver from it, I guess. We are all one. Says, do you ever eat butter? Question mark for a snack. Some people do, but I don't. And I think one of the reasons I don't is I've never liked butter. I've never buttered a piece of bread in my life. I was a very finicky eater when I was a kid. Most of it really stuck. And I don't know why, but the only creamy dairy kind of thing that I could tolerate was ice cream. You couldn't get me to touch anything like sour cream, yogurt, none of that stuff. I don't know why I had an aversion. And then the first time I discovered lobster tail dipped in drawn butter, I, of course, liked that. And then I actually started putting butter on like baked potatoes and maybe some vegetables. And that's the most I ever ate of butter. The thought of taking a stick of butter and actually just eating it repulses me for some reason. It still does. So I'm not the guy to ask. A lot of people use butter as a crutch or a way to pump up the fat. Maybe they're eating leaner meats or they aren't getting the fat in the meat that they think they need. Some people use heavy cream in coffee. Or like I did the other night, fry something up in bacon grease. Get the extra fat in. And I had somebody make a comment on my little chicken thigh fried in bacon grease video. Why didn't you use butter? First of all, I would have needed $5 worth of butter where I had all that bacon grease that didn't cost me anything. It came with the bacon. So that's one of the reasons. Number two, I like it better fried in bacon grease. Bacon grease has a higher flash point than butter, so it's less likely to smoke. But I suppose you could fry it in butter if you wanted. But to deep fry something in butter, you need a lot of friggin' butter. So that's the main reason. So whoever wrote me that comment, I hope you're listening, because I didn't take the time to write all that out. Matt Sterlin, 100, what is this? Kroners of some SEKs, whatever that is. Thank you so much. Thank you for the super chat or the super sticker and the little flying guy with the blue guy with the orange cape. That's me. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Bacon fat and lard is awesome. You know, it's a good fat. In some respects, maybe even better than tallow. I know that sounds like sacrilegious to say. From what I've read about bacon fat, is it's very high in monounsaturated, which are supposed to be healthy, which is why they recommend olive oil, avocado, coconut oil, monounsaturated. It's the polyunsaturated fats. Bad news. And of course, the saturated fats are fine. Boyd Lamb says, I didn't stick a butter in a thing of saltines. Have mercy, who knew? Yeah, the butter was okay. But who among us, who among the 80 people, who among the 80 people that are sitting here watching today hasn't, at one point in our lives, taken a whole stick? I can't hardly go wide enough on the screen. A whole stick of saltines out of the square box with 4 sticks in it. Sat down in front of the TV, eating the whole damn thing. All that, not only the carbs, but the amount of salt in there too. Not that I think it's harmful, but it sure make you thirsty. And going back for another one. I have. I think you're honest with yourself. Yep, been there. Oh yeah, yep. Everybody has it. We all have. That's what I love about this community. None of us have invented anything so outrageous as to not have been done by everybody else when it comes to binging and eating food. With me, it was always blueberries. I would always polish off the entire 3-pound bag of blueberries in one sitting. Yeah, and they know that. And those crackers are engineered, of course, to be addictive. Well, you can always eat. Yeah, Nate Dogg says ate the saltines in chili. Oh, of course. Of course. How many times, again, have we taken and crumbled the saltines up and put them in soup or chili? And you know what my favorite? Oh, here we go. There's a movie called Fatso with Tom Bell. All these big fat carb addicts who formed the organization called, what's it called? Forgot. It was like a Carb Anonymous. And they would meet to talk about it, sit and drink their hot water or tea with no sugar. And they'd start talking about all the things that were really good that they used to. They drive themselves so crazy they go into an eating thing. And here we are talking about the things we used to do. And it's not good. It's not good. And after I tell you what I used to, my favorite thing to do was, I'm going to stop talking about it. But my favorite thing to do with a really good soup was to take Cheez-It crackers and crumble them up and throw them. Oh. All right, enough, Mitch. Stop it. Stop it. I won't be around anymore on tomorrow. I'll be so ashamed of myself binging tonight. Don't want to think about that stuff or talk about it. Oh, here we go. Everybody's telling us their discretions. Peanut butter on Ritz crackers. Yeah, it's better we don't talk about that stuff, baby. You think? One thing about cigars, I will tell you, my friends, they're not like cigarettes. cigarettes, they put chemicals in cigarettes so that they never go out. You've seen people put a cigarette down in an ashtray and nobody touches it; it'll burn right down to the filter. They want those cigarettes on fire. They don't want them. They want them burning out whether you're smoking them or not. And that's a chemical in there. It can't be good for you. Cigars have no chemicals whatsoever. I know that because I used to have a cigar company. We had a factory in the Dominican Republic, and we made cigars. And I know where the tobacco comes from. I know what they do to the tobacco before it's rolled into the cigar. It is a 100% natural product. There is nothing here but aged leaves rolled up. No chemicals, nothing. Even the adhesive that they use is a mucilage that's made from animal products to stick the wrapper leaves down. And it's 100% edible. And they go out. If you don't keep puffing on them, they will just go out. So you see a lot of people relighting their cigars all the time. If they're distracted or they're talking a lot, they're not concentrating on smoking. So, as I always say, excuse me while I relight my cigar. Cigars also last a long time. I've been going almost an hour on this live stream already, and this cigar still hasn't burned down. Oh well, enough about the cigars. All this talk doesn't spark cravings. Good. It really should. Lori White says, Mama Cracker says, God damn the pusher. Tammy's here. Hey, Tammy, Patarch, how you doing? Anybody new? Anybody? David. David is here. I see. I said hi to you. I think I managed to say hi to just about everybody. I hope I didn't miss you. Kathleen Hickey, I see you. Remember saying hi to you. But I think I got everybody. And as much as I hate to do it, coming up on an hour, I'm going to say goodbye. I have no exit music. I have no studio here, no sound effects. No nothing except me and this couch and this cigar. So, and of course, at the last minute, we get Donna from Australia. How you doing, Donna? How you doing? Good to see you. Golf addict, nice seeing you. Mitch. Cheers to you and everyone. You too, Spanky. See you tomorrow night. So I do have a live stream tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. We always have a good time. I hope to see you there. I'll be back tomorrow morning, sitting out here with my cup of coffee at the crack of dawn, talking about God knows what. Now, I rewatched. I hate to blow my own horn. I rewatched my video from this morning. It's between you and me. I make those things. I marvel at what comes out of my mouth, unrehearsed. That I even maintain some train of thought that actually makes sense. And I sit and I watch it. And this is going to sound very egotistical, but I impressed even myself. I think that talk, that little speech or lecture, all what you want, that I did this morning about being selfish or selfless and the reality, not what we put on top of it, but the reality of what it really is. I thought that was one of the best and most comprehensive little talks that I have ever done, right off the top of my head. If you haven't seen it, I think you'll enjoy it. I think the fact that those things usually end up between like 20 around 25 minutes or so. Scares a lot of people. I did get, over the past couple of days, a couple of comments from morons who scolded me, basically saying that, get to the point already, I'm too busy to sit around for 20 minutes. And I, of course, will not enter into any dialogue or answer any comment like that. I don't want to start fights. But there are those people in the world that think that the rest of us exist to serve them and their whims and their needs. We have no right. We have no right to take up their value. I don't remember inviting these people, but you can't deal with them. You just want them to go away. Fortune, yes. Boyd Lamb says F-U-K-E-M. Fucum. That's it. That's it. We invented a new word. Fucum. Doesn't sound like a curse word. Boyd, I can always count on you for a little brilliance. Fabulous. Holy cow, Spanky just ate 16 strips of bacon watching a movie. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That is not a bad thing to do. Springbold is here. How you doing? Springbold, Mitch, great to catch you live. Hope you and all are doing well. We are. I am anyway. Naomi Jones, thanks for the impromptu. I now have been working on Tuesdays. Oh, okay. Well, good. I'm glad you got here. So with that, my friends, thanks so much for coming. Thanks so much. You made my day. You made my day. Got to meet with some of my friends. I'm going to sit here, finish my cigar. I know some of you are at work. If you're at work, you take the rest of the day off. And if your boss says you can't, find a replay of this video and play him this part of it right here. So all of you out there, take the rest of the day off. You tell them I said it was okay and eat meat. See you Tuesday.